Anne of Cleves, the fourth wife and queen of Henry VIII, may be the most underrated woman in the Tudor history. Most of people know her for a nickname Flanders Mare, that, as they say, came from her look, but you'll see if it's true in this video. Before we start, I'll ask you to like and comment on this video if you find Anne beautiful as well as me. Fact number 1. Untrue about Anne of Cleves' beauty. Many people assume that she was ugly just because Henry VIII said it, and exactly what he said, indisposed to excite and provoke me. Some say he even called her Flanders Mare, but here's the truth. When Anne arrived in England in 1539, she remained at Rochester Castle. Her stay was longer than it was promised, and Henry thought that it's a good idea to ride out in the castle wearing a disguise, like he did to Catherine of Aragon in their marriage. So Anne would be like, "Oh no, robbers!" Then, "Oh hey, that's the king. I love you so much, my master." But in reality, Anne was scared. Some old guy just showed up in her room, tries to kiss her, and of course she objected. Henry was so angry that his wife-to-be didn't like his outfit and him in general, so King made up a story about her awful look and her being smelly, which of course isn't true. But what is untrue too? It's her nickname, Flanders Mare, because she's not even from Flanders, and Henry never said it. The phrase only appears centuries later in 17th and 15th century writings. Fact number 2. Anne of Cleves didn't know English. Anne grew up in a German-speaking court where learning foreign languages wasn't considered important for noble women. Her family focused on practical skills such as managing a household and behaving modestly, rather than on music, dancing, or language studies. Unlike many European courts, the Duchy of Cleves was more traditional and less influenced by a Renaissance education. As a result, Anne never had lessons in English, French, or Latin, which were common subjects for royal women in other countries, and her marriage to Henry VIII was arranged very quickly. She had only little time to prepare for life in England, so she arrived with almost no knowledge of English. Another fact is that Queen disliked sea travel. Anne of Cleves strongly disliked traveling by sea, and her journey to England was especially difficult. She crossed the Channel in the middle of winter. Then the weather was cold, stormy, and unpredictable. The rough waves made her very sick during the voyage, and by the time she reached England, she was exhausted and unwell. Because of this, she needed several days to rest and recover before she was able to meet Henry VIII for the first time. This delay also added stress to her arrival, since the king had been excited and impatient to see her. Now thinking about this, poor Anne had to deal with sickness after the sea, English weather, and old smelly king. We feel for you, Queen. Fact number 4. Queen loved games. Once she settled into English court life and discovered that she really enjoyed card games and other forms of gambling. These games were a popular form of entertainment among nobles, and Anne quickly became very good at them. The English ambassador Sir John Hussey wrote that Anne joined the king and courtiers in games soon after arriving in England. She often won against the gentlemen and ladies of the court, and she won so frequently that some people prefer not to play with her. Her skill at cards also helped her build social connections and shows that she could enjoy English court culture even if she was different from Henry's other wives. A further fact is that Anne became one of the wealthiest women in England. After her marriage to Henry was annulled, Anne received a very generous settlement. Henry granted her several large estates, expensive houses, and an early income that was higher than what most nobles earned. Her new status as the king's beloved sister gave her an important position, and she was allowed to live independently with her own household. Thanks to her wealth and freedom, Anne lived comfortably for the rest of her life, and she managed her estates wisely, which helped her stay financially secure long after Henry's death. For me, she's the actual survivor of Henry VIII's wives, because who else kept a good status and important position after being with the king? Besides her, only Charles Brandon, I think. Fact number 6. Anne was so friendly that literally whole court, 2 wives and 2 daughters of Henry's adored her. We all know that after their annulment with the king, he married Catherine Howard, who was firstly at Anne of Cleves' household. But even after all of this, Anne and Catherine built good and respectful relationships. Some later historians believe that Anne felt sympathy for Catherine, especially when Catherine lost the king's favor so quickly. Also, Anne built good relationships with Catherine Parr, who was the last wife of Henry VIII. She welcomed Anne to court whenever it was appropriate. During Catherine's queenship, Anne often attended banquets, religious events, and court gatherings without fear of jealousy or competition. Catherine understood Anne's unusual position and treated her with respect. Anne, of course, had friendship with Mary and Elizabeth, king's daughters. The Spanish ambassador Eustace Chapuis wrote that Anne showed courtesy and respect towards Mary, even during times when Mary's religious beliefs caused tension at court, and she sometimes hosted Elizabeth at her estates, remained on friendly terms with her, this showing that she was respected across generations of the royal family. Fact number 7. Anne of Cleves loved gardening. After her annulment with Henry VIII, Anne enjoyed a quiet and independent life. She loved gardening and spent much time improving the grounds at her estates, especially at Hever Castle. Her household account, studied by historians like Elizabeth Norton and Mary Seller, shows that she bought seeds, plants, and tools and hired gardeners to help. Gardening gave Anne peace and freedom, like it did to Jane Seymour, the third wife of Henry's, about who we talked in the last video. Anne carefully arranged flowers, herbs, and fruit trees, creating beautiful and useful gardens. Visitors admired her estates, and gardening became one of her favorite ways to enjoy her independent life. Another fact, Anne of Cleves had a scandal about Lady Jane Grey. In 1553, when King Edward VI was dying, some nobles tried to make Lady Jane Grey queen instead of Mary Tudor. Rumors spread that Anne of Cleves might support Jane, but there is no evidence she took part in the plot. The chronicler John Stowe wrote that people suspected her, while the Spanish ambassador Eustace Chapuis described Anne as careful and loyal to the royal family. Many historians agree that she stayed neutral because of her caution and wasn't punished when Mary became queen, showing her ability to survive even during political danger. The last fact is that Anne of Cleves lived a long life for her time, outliving all of Henry VIII's other wives. She had a great relationships with Queen Mary, as I said before, but many don't know that Anne also respected Catholic faith, maybe because of their friendship or like some say it's being afraid, which on my opinion can't be true. Anne showed loyalty and respect. She attended Catholic masses and religious celebrations. Anne's religious caution helped her maintain her safety and position at court. She avoided conflicts over religion and remained a trusted member of the royal family. Anne of Cleves died in the 1557 during Mary's reign. She was buried at Westminster Abbey, a sign of her high status in England. Even though she had never been crowned queen, her tomb is modest, reflecting her quiet and independent life. Rather than the drama of Henry VIII's other wives, she lived carefully, with dignity, and with success in maintaining her position and wealth in the Tudor court. In the end, we understand that Anne of Cleves wasn't just the king's fast fourth wife or the Flanders mare. She was beautiful, intelligent, and interesting woman who could survive in the Tudor court, kept good relationships with the whole royal family, and had her wealth, dignity, and peace in life. We know that there is no doubt why people adore her. She was a remarkable woman who is no less loved now than before. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please let me know in the comments. And also, what you think about Anne of Cleves. Is she, on your opinion, valid in history or not? Anyway, see you later, guys. Bye.